Good morning. It is Let It Go and Let It Grow. And this is Tuesday, May 26, 2026. And what are we letting go of today? And that is the Ace of Swords. Swords are truth, clarity, mental breakthrough, communication. It is air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It is an air element. And we are releasing mental confusion and overthinking today. So this is that rumination, that hamster on the wheel, possibly intrusive thoughts, the thoughts that keep looping over and over and over again. And if you can see that spiral staircase, as you walk up or down, you're keeping going in the same sort of pattern and the same sort of circle. So this is asking you today to let go of those shady areas, these areas of blackness and darkness here that are all around the corner of the nautilus shell. And this is asking you to allow that bright point of light to come in there, that stroke of genius, that connection to source, and those information and knowledge that can flow in. Let go of false narratives and self-deception. This is where are your shadows? Where are the untruths that you're telling yourselves? Things that don't line up. Stories that have long since passed their prime, but you're still repeating them and telling themselves there. You know, you can see up in the top there's mathematical equations, but the infinity symbol is there too. So that is to remind you that things never end. They only change and progress. But we can get stuck in the human paradigm, that human rumination of not being able to let things go, those looping thoughts, those patterns, those things that we want to break but are having a hard time. Today it's asking you to let that sword down, lay it down, and to allow that strike of light to come in for you. Drop communication patterns that are creating conflict. So this might be, that little voice inside you that says, oh, I really know how to get under that person's skin. Don't do that. Nothing good can come from conflict, and nothing good can come from planned conflict. If you're setting out to irritate somebody just for the sake of doing it, check yourself. Why are you doing this? What pattern of that is in you? Is that a childhood issue? Is that inner child, that exile that needs to have attention paid to it? No resolution comes through conflict, especially verbal conflict, because words cut deep and they can cut forever. Stop clinging through thoughts that no longer serve you. So once again, this is asking you to sweep that stairwell clear of the dark spots on the sides there and allow that light to come in. And start checking yourself from the point of the observer on your thought patterns and why you keep wanting to repeat these old stories and these whole old habits for yourself. What are you getting out of it? Because you wouldn't be doing it if you weren't getting something out of it. So where is your payoff for this? Allow truth to cut through that illusion. You have the crow up there, the shadow crow coming in. And once again, use that truth to cut through. So that is that laser beam of light going to the center of her head, that divine flow, that information that comes from no other place but being connected, being in alignment and flow source. So cut through that illusion today and allow the truth to be seen for yourself while you're stopping these narratives, the self-deception, that over-rumination, that looping pattern of thoughts that don't serve you anymore. Let it go. She's wearing white. So once again, when I see white in these cards, to me, that is a connection to spirit. What is spirit trying to ask you to do to get out of your own way, to clear these cobwebs out of your mind so that you can move forward on a more clear, decisive, constructive way for yourself. For Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, Ace of Swords is sharp clarity. A truth is surfacing that can no longer be ignored. So once again, come at this from the state and the side of the observer rather than coming from a state of judgment. Judgment holds a lower vibration. Observing has almost a balanced vibration to it because you are stepping outside of you to do the hard work. So let it grow today is the Tower. Sudden changes, awakenings, collapsing of the illusion. It's a fire sign in Aries, and it is Mars in Aries. So this is that warring fire energy. The tearing the systems down, the burn it all down to the ground kind of thing. You can see that in there. The lightning is striking in. There's fire that is in the log itself. But what I love that they've done with this is that the fire is actually butterflies. So you know through turmoil, transformation is coming on the other side, and you have the nuts down here, which means new growth and new potential. So go through the necessary transformation. Growing is not easy. I mean, you hear the term growing pains. I think immediately of that dark night of the soul kind of perception that you have to be shaken down to your foundation sometimes to get the true message. And that can come in so many different ways and painful. But know on the other side, as things move and grow, that pain becomes less and less, and becomes the cobblestones and the pathway to your new life. Allow old structures to collapse if they are totally built on this illusion. So if you have been telling yourself stories that aren't necessarily true and need to break that down and shake the foundation of where your beliefs come, this is the time to do that. Shake it down. Embrace the awakening instead of resisting. Awakening can be painful. Change can be painful. New information can be painful. Like, transition is not necessarily an easy state to go through, but it's necessary on our journey of growth. I just mentioned a few seconds ago, growing pains. You're told when you're a kid, oh, your knees hurt, you're growing. Like, it can be extremely uncomfortable, but necessary. With the turmoil in the world, they say nothing good can come from a war, but that's technically not true, though we perceive it. There's destruction, there's unfortunate death. But out of that comes a really interesting upswing of information and expansion, and we wouldn't be where we are if these things hadn't happened. So even though it is a hard thing to see, a hard thing to be a part of, this is the growth of the world. This is how we grow, sadly, as society, and we see more natural disasters, and this is actually how Mother Earth herself grows, is through these hurricanes and, volcanoes and the whole thing. We've lost civilizations because of volcanoes, but out of that has come stagnation and then growth forward again. So realize that when you're being torn down to the core, to the roots of the tree, when you're being torn down, know that the roots are still well planted and growth comes from this. Let breakthrough happen even if they feel uncomfortable. Trust that destruction can clear that space for your authenticity to show and shine through. And this is a very interesting thing. A lot of you know that I've lost my family. They all died within a very short period of time. One of the worst periods of my life, one of the hardest journeys I've ever had to go through, be on, walk through the fires of hell kind of thing. But on this side now, the path that my life has taken, the things I've learned, the experiences I've had, the growth that I've done would not have come in any other way, because we get stuck, completely stuck where we are. And that is that shaking and tearing down. The Tower card, people a lot of times will say, oh, well, it's just change and growth. But this is the growth card where it can be hard and it can be painful for it to happen. But just take note, if you're going through something like this, that dark night of the soul, being torn down, having your foundation completely rocked, that this is not permanent. This is a place that you are visiting, not that you are living at. And the lightning is there. So I see this as that storm rolling through and passing on. Destruction can be left behind. You can feel raw. You can feel broken down in the sense of shamanistic terms, deboned. You have to kind of put yourself back together. You're not going to be the same person that you were when you started this journey, but that can also be exciting in ways too. So not to see this necessarily as a bad card, but as the ultimate growth card. So for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, the Tower is explosive growth energy. What falls apart is actually freeing you. So remember that. It might feel painful, it might feel scary, it might not be the thing that you look forward to, it might not be the path that you thought you were going to choose, but it's freeing you from old constraints, old beliefs, that rumination, that turning and churning in your own head. It's breaking down the fabric and the core of who you actually thought you were to grow on the other side. So the messages of the day: release the illusion, grow through that awakening. Sometimes clarity arrives like lightning, sudden, undeniable, and absolutely impossible to unsee. What truth about yourself are you ready to finally face? And what old structure in your life are you ready to have fall away? So that is asking you to do this on a more gentle motion. What are you ready to let fall away versus what's going to fall away whether you wanted to or not? I am using the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck today, and we will see what's going on today. Looks like it's going to be beautiful out, so that's exciting. This little guy wants to come out. Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. Now this is funny. I had a client here yesterday and she chose this card. And when I got up this morning and went to this deck, I knew that this was going to be the card that came out. So I don't know why I knew it, but I just knew it. So I have a really big connection to this deck and one other, and weirdly they're both written by Colette Baron Reed and Alberto Vivaldo. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I knew this morning that this was going to be the card that came out. So this aligns perfectly with this card. Dust Devils are kind of destruction. So it's once again moving out of that stagnation period, moving forward. If you picture the Tasmanian Devil, it is quick actions. The Dust Devil is coming in and moving out. It is that storm cloud. But the neat thing about sand is that it can take with it the rough edges. It has the ability to sand things down, to take what was sharp, what didn't align with you, parts of your personality that needed softening and needed to have those edges taken off with it. So think of this as the storm coming in, the wind coming, the dust behind it, but it's smoothing you out, making you softer, and this could be directly towards yourself. If your old structures in your life are falling away, you're going to need that gentleness and that kindness to you. There's a lot of action in these cards today, a lot of that fiery get shit done kind of things. But when the storm clouds go out, the lightning stops, and that dust settles, you are going to be a newer version of you, softer, and I feel being able to see things from a different light and maybe a little bit more compassionate with yourself and with others. So have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.